Because of the advent of the internet and the increasing interconnection of everything that we do to that internet, it means that effectively all the ways that we've done things historically are coming to an end. And everything that we've done historically has just been the modern evolutionary reality of the industrial economy getting more and more sophisticated. But the moment that we introduce connection into that mix, all of this starts to fall into obsolescence. See, it used to be, before the Industrial Revolution, we lived in an agrarian society. In the agrarian society, we came off the fields and we came into the marketplace to trade our goods, to gossip, to have relationships with people. And it used to be that as humans, we were able to have relationships in a very limited way around the marketplace, within the village, and your neighbours and your family. But then, when the Industrial Revolution came along, all of that ended. And all these people started to go into the means of production, the factories. And this is how schools were invented, because schools were designed to produce human beings of a certain intellect to be able to go and sit or stand in a place for 8 or 9 hours a day without a break, doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah? So the whole industrial economy model is sputtering to an end, because as we've introduced the connections into this, the whole facet of relationships now comes back into play. And this is why social media is so alluring for the human psyche, is because it gives us an opportunity to connect. And as a result of that, and because of the evolutionary imperative, you have to start to think that the business that you're going to have is going to be projected onto the internet in such a way as to accord with the realities of how you would hope to have relationships with the people who are interested in you. So, because the industrial era is ending, we're now in the realm of connections. Now, Seth Godin wrote a book called Tribes, and what he says is that in a connection dynamic like we have, there will always be somebody who is good at one thing, and everybody else that's also good at that or interested in that will, by virtue of the technology, will find you because it's a community of interest. And so if you are in a position to use your expertise, and you can demonstrate your expertise to people within your community of interest, then that community of interest will begin to organize itself around you naturally, because it's the merging of the human evolutionary perspective and the realities of how technology and connections enable all of this to happen. So what has happened in my business, inadvertently, and I only learned this after the fact, when Seth Godin told me about it in his book, I built a tribe. Because everybody in Hong Kong that's a foreign national invariably has to think about immigration for at least the first 7 years of their lives here. So that affects almost every foreign national in this town to one degree or another. Now, I always knew that that was the reality of the marketplace, but what I didn't understand at the time that I was building my business was the reality of tribes, because I put myself at the center of that community, and because there's effectively nothing else comparable in that niche, that marketplace, such as you can call it, begins to organize itself, in this instance, around me. So what you have here is not marketing, because that belongs to the industrial economy. Marketing is where you make stuff and then you go and find people to buy it, right? But what you really should be doing is you should be giving everything away that people need, and then recognize that what they're ultimately getting from you is the one thing that they can't get anywhere else. And it's not a matter of just holding something back. It's a matter of truly understanding what your proposition is and being able to position yourself with your proposition, specifically into the intellectual mindset that you're dealing with. So the connection revolution is what it's all about. So I asked you at the beginning, what about the opportunities of you still being in business 2 years from now? From my experience, all you need to do is to understand what your expertise is, what your proposition is, and understand that you can do it better than everybody else, get there before everybody else, and the tribe will organise itself around you.